Hello and welcome to today's heart opening flow. This is one that'll open you out through the front of the body, giving you that really nice stretch and that sense of expansion through the body as well. So as always, to start with, coming into a seated position. If you can, coming to sit back on your heels, this will just make some of the transitions in the beginning a little bit easier. However, if this isn't comfortable for you, do come into any comfortable seat and you will still be able to join in with the flow fully. So we start just finding that seated position, close down the eyes or soften the gaze and allow yourself to arrive to your practice. So you might begin by connecting to the breath, scanning through the body, or just checking in and noting where you're at today. And we do all of these things without judgment, just looking to simply become aware. We're going to begin by introducing in a movement of the arms. So bringing your hands together, one on top of the other. And with your inhale, lift the arms overhead. And then exhale, drop the hands down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, release down. Taking 3 more here. Last one. We then land our right hand down beside us. This might just be the fingertips. Inhale, lift the left arm. Exhale, coming into a side bend here. And we then begin to introduce that heart opening movement here. So we exhale, we reach that hand forward, it taps down. Inhale, sweep the arm back, opening into the chest. Exhale, drop the hand, tap down. Inhale, opening. One more. Exhale, release that hand down. We're then going to come into eagle arms. So keeping this left hand forward, we sweep round, left arm goes out, and we wrap the right arm around the left. So you can have the palms back to back, or the hands back to back, or palm to palm. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, round through the back. Finding a variation of cats and cows here. Taking one more. And then with your inhale, coming up high on the knees, lifting the arms, opening into the chest. Releasing the arms out, and we come to land the left hand down, the right arm goes up, coming in to thread the needle. So this arm is up high, and then we exhale, thread it under. You'll choose your variation of thread the needle here. This left hand can go to the top of the mat or wrap around the back in a bind. If this top hand has moved to that left hand, you'll bring it back down to the mat. Inhale, unfurling. Lift that right arm high. And then exhale, push yourself up. And then drop that right hand back. It can either come towards your heel or your hip. And you come into a variation of a camel pose. So engage the glutes, push the hips forward, releasing this top arm backwards. So opening into the chest. Inhale, lifting up. And then exhale, coming down to seated. So coming back to that seated position. Taking a few breaths here. We then prepare to take that through on the opposite side. So our left hand comes down. Inhale, lift the right arm. Exhale for your side bend. We then come into that heart opening variation. So we exhale, release that top arm down. Inhale, open out. Exhale, release the hand. Inhale, lift up. Last one. Exhale, release that hand down, and we come to those eagle arms. So the right arm comes round and forwards, and then we wrap the left arm. And again, you'll find your variation on eagle arms here. Inhale, lift. Exhale to round. You'll just flow between these two positions. Taking one more. And again, with that inhale, we lift up high onto the knees, opening into the chest, engage the glutes. And we carefully release the arms, exhale, landing right arm down, left arm goes up high, exhale, thread the needle. And again, you'll choose your variation here with that top arm. Release that top arm back down. Inhale to unfurl yourself. We lift up and exhale through to that camel pose. Inhale, lift up. And this time we come through onto all fours. So exhale, landing the hands down. As you come onto all fours, you'll just look to find some movement. So you can choose your positioning here. Maybe you take yourself a little bit wider than a standard tabletop. And you just look to move around. Whether that be a circling of the hips, maybe you find some cats and cows here. Maybe you work into the neck and the shoulders. Maybe you just want to take a moment in child's pose, opening up through the back of the body. Taking a few more breaths here. And then whenever you feel ready to, you'll make your way into a downward dog. Taking a breath in your down dog, maybe finding that little walk out of the legs. And then we come to a fold, so you can walk the hands to the feet or the feet to the hands. Inhale, rise all the way up. And exhale, draw the hands down. Good, so we're going to find a few rounds of a half sun salutation to begin with here, just looking to mobilize a little bit more through the spine. So you'll start by coming to stand in Tadasana. Hands drop down beside you, standing tall, grounding down through the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms wide. Exhale into a fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. And exhale to heart center. Taking a breath here. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, heart center. Take a breath here before our final round. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Lift the arms. Exhale, heart center. Again, just take a moment here. Maybe find a few deep breaths. From here, we're then going to flow through a sun salutation to our downward dog before going into our full flow for today. So when you're ready, coming to stand at the top of your mat if you're not there already. And again, just finding Tadasana. So we ground down through the feet, grow tall through the crown of the head, take a breath. And then we inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back to your plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale for your choice of back bend. And exhale, downward dog. Pausing in your down dog. Take a breath here. Exhale, lower the knees down, untucking the toes. Inhale, rising up, coming high on the knees. From here, we're going to come into camel pose. So you have 3 ways you can take this pose. The first one being bring your hands onto your hips, and then you'll inhale, opening into the chest. So you'll draw the elbows round towards one another, opening the chest as far as is comfortable. The second variation, I don't have one, but you can use a block, so I can't demonstrate this one fully, but you can either place a block either side of the feet and have the hands coming back onto your block, or you can place one in between the feet and have both hands coming back onto it. So it just gives you that little bit more height. And then your third variation is bringing your hands onto your heels. Now for this one, I would recommend just tucking the toes under, gives that little bit of extra height, makes the heels a little bit more accessible here. So you carefully lower yourself back, you'll find the heels, and then opening into the chest. So preparing to come into your variation. With our inhale, we find length. So it's the knees that are grounding down, finding length through the crown of the head. And then exhale, choosing your variation of your camel pose. Looking to engage the glutes, push the hips forward, open into the chest. Inhale, lifting out. Exhale, interlinking the fingers. Inhale, opening into the chest here. Exhale, coming down to rabbit pose. So again, for this one, you have two choices. You can sit back on the heels and then lower the crown of the head down. So you'd lower the crown of the head and then begin to lift the hips. Or if you're comfortable too, you can come in from this higher position, just carefully dropping the crown of the head to the mat, keeping the hips semi-lifted the whole time and coming in fully. And then again with the arms, you can keep them up so you can have them in this more chest opening position, or you can have them more relaxed on the lower back, especially if you have any issues through the shoulders. I would recommend this variation. So you'll take your variation of rabbit pose. If it's not comfortable on the crown of the head, you can bring this onto the forehead, so a little bit more like a child's pose, just a slightly lifted variation. And breathing here. Exhale, carefully release the hands under the shoulders. Inhale, lifting up. As you do so, lifting the right leg. So we come to all fours with the right leg lifted. Exhale, step that leg through for a low lunge. Inhale, rise up fully into your low lunge position. Option to open into the chest. Exhale, release the hands down. Inhale, tuck the toes, lift the back knee. Rising up for a high lunge. Exhale, sweep the arms back, reaching through the crown of the head, drawing the shoulder blades towards one another so there's that opening in the chest. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, interlink the fingers, bring them to the base of the skull, open into the chest once more. Inhale, turning to the side so you're stood in this wide-legged position. We're then going to the back of the mat, so we turn our toes, facing the short edge of the mat here, coming into warrior legs. So we have a bend in that left leg straight through the right leg. With our exhale, we drop left elbow towards left knee. Inhale up. We take that twice more. Exhale, drop elbow to knee. Inhale, lift. Good. From here, opening out into your warrior two. Coming to a balancing pose now of half moon. So we're going to drop this left hand down in front of the left foot. Ooh. Sliding that right foot in as you do so. You'll then look to lift that right leg, open the hips towards the long edge of your mat, and then inhale, lift right arm. If you can, you'll look up towards the right fingertips. Exhale, release that right foot down, coming to stand, facing the long edge of your mat in that wide-legged position, cradling the head in the hands, open into the chest. Open the arms out wide. The focus is then with this back right arm. We're coming to a twisted lizard pose. So we exhale, we sweep through, land that right hand down, land that back knee down, lift left hand to the sky. This left leg will shuffle out slightly. So we've got this nice opening into the chest. Option to exhale, draw that back foot in, maybe take hold, getting a bit more of a quad stretch here. Exhale, releasing that foot, lift the arm up, bring it all the way down. From here, we're coming to Skandasana at the top of our mats. So we tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, walk the hands through. We bend into this right knee, long through that left leg. The toes can be lifted. And again, if you're comfortable here, you can bring this into a balance. So you can bring the hands to heart center, breathing here. Exhale, turning to the top of the mat, land the hands down. We step back into a plank position. Exhale down all the way onto the belly, untuck the toes. Bring the arms behind you, interlink the fingers, and we're going to come to locust pose. So we inhale, lifting the legs, lifting through the chest. Draw the shoulder blades together. That fist you've created is lifted, looking forwards. Exhale, release. Drop the hands and then push yourself back into a child's pose. You'll come into any variation of a child's pose here. So we're just looking to find a counter to all those heart-opening positions. So you'll just spend a moment here, take some nice deep breaths. If you'd rather come onto all fours and find a little bit of releasing movement there, then you're more than welcome to. But just looking to take that moment to pause before we go in to that flow on the opposite side. Final few deep breaths here. And then we'll use an inhale to rise up into our downward dog, tucking the toes, lifting the knees. Maybe having that little walk out as you come to your down dog. And then we exhale, lower the knees. Option to untuck the toes. Inhale, rise up. Coming up onto the knees. Inhale, finding length through the crown of the head. And then exhale into your chosen variation. Hands to hips, hands to block, or hands to heels. Inhale to lift. Exhale, release the hands, interlink the fingers. Inhale, open into the chest. Exhale, making your way into your variation of rabbit pose. So looking to get the crown of the head or the forehead on the mat. Hips are lifted. And then the hands can be high or they can be at the lower back. Exhale, release the hands. Inhale, lifting up here. As we do so, we lift that left leg. Exhale, step through for a lunge. Inhale, rising up. Option to open into the chest here. Exhale, land the hands down. Tuck the toes, lift the back knee, and with an inhale, rising up to your high lunge. Exhale, sweep the arms back, shoulder blades draw together, reaching through the crown of the head, finding that length. Nice and active here. Inhale, rise up. Interlink the fingers, exhale to the base of the skull, open into the chest with an inhale. From here, turning to face the side. We then turn the back toes to face the long edge of the mat, so that's the right foot. Exhale, bend into the knee. Coming into that warrior two position with the legs. And then we exhale. Right elbow, right knee. Inhale up. Exhale, right elbow, right knee. Inhale up. Last one. Open out wide into a warrior two. Exhale, releasing that hand down, step the back foot in. Inhale, lift the back leg, open the hips towards the side of the room, lift that left arm if you haven't already, coming into half moon here. Exhale, land that back foot down, turning to the side. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, cradle the skull. Inhale, open into the chest. Open the arms out wide. Focuses with this left arm to your back arm. Exhale, sweep through, finding your lizard pose here. Rotating through, lift that right arm up. Right arm can remain lifted, or there's the option to lift the back foot, take hold, draw it in towards the bum. If you're holding on to that back foot, carefully releasing, and then with an exhale, we'll all land that hand down. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, turning towards the side, and then walking through to the top of your mat, coming into Skandasana once again. So that side angled lunge. Exhale, landing the hands down, turning to face the top of your mat, and then we step back into a plank. From here, we exhale all the way down onto the belly. Bring the hands behind you, interlink the fingers, and then inhale, lifting through the legs, lifting through the chest, lifting that fist you've created, locust pose here. Exhale, release, and then push yourself back into child's pose, or perhaps coming onto all fours to find that releasing movement here. With an inhale, we'll rise up to seated. We'll come to sit with our legs extended out in front. We'll just find some nice flowing folds here. So with an inhale, we sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold. Notice how I'm taking this movement quite nice and soft, so my arms aren't reaching particularly high. They're just lifting overhead, and then I'm dropping into my fold. So again, this is just a nice counter to all those heart opening positions. Flowing with the breath. Taking a couple more here. And then when you next come into a fold, you'll pause there. It's just going to be a nice gentle fold. So your hands can just land wherever. The upper body is softening. Maybe you even take a little bend in the knees. And then inhale, just coming up. And you'll come to a comfortable position here. And just taking a moment to pause, maybe closing down the eyes. And you can join me in drawing the hands together at heart center or bring them into any other meaningful gesture to you. And we just take a moment to end our practice with gratitude. Thank you for joining me for today's class. I hope to see you on the mat again soon.